ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यन्नित्यमानन्दमनन्तमेकं शिवेति नाम्ना श्रुतयो गृह्णन्ति तस्यावतारो नररूपधारी कृपासुधाब्धि भुवि रामकृष्णः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Ramakrishna Aratrikam song, which is sung by millions of devotees daily as the glorification of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, was written by Swami Vivekananda. In this song, Swamiji glorifies Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna as the absolute reality, as the Ishvaraha and as the Avatara and Jagadguru. In the previous classes, we have seen meaning of some of the words of the first shloka. Khandana bhava bandhana jagavandana vanditomai niranjana nararupadhara nirguna gunamai. In this first shloka, the absolute reality is defined as nirgunaha, and at the same time that reality manifests as sagunaha. Nirgunaha san sagunaha. Being attributeless manifests as all the attributes, manifests as Jagat, Jiva and Ishvara. Even though it manifests with attributes, those attributes don't pollute the nature of the reality. Therefore, Niranjanaha. Sagunatve api Niranjanaha. Not polluted, because Sagunatvam is mithya, unreal, and Nirgunatvam is the absolute reality. Paramarthikatvad asangatvad, in Vedanta they say. Being absolute reality, it is not tainted by the attributes. Niranjanaha punya papa rahitaha. Being Niranjanaha, he doesn't have any punyam and papam or ajnanam. Therefore, there is no birth for him, but still nara rupa dharaha. Ajayamano bahudha vijayate. Vedanta says. Ajayamanaha, but bahudha vijayate. Though birthless, still takes all forms, especially form of a human being. Niranjanaha san nararupa dharaha. Being birthless assumes human body. This is the revelation about Avatara Tattva. In the previous class, we saw that a jiva assumes body because of his ajnanam and punya papa karma. whereas Ishvara assumes body because of Sarvajñatvam and Karuna. Jiva's life is full of misery, being ignorant. Ishvara's life is for the sake of Dharma Rakshanam, and it is considered as Leela, for Lokanugraham, for the welfare of the world. Bhagavan Shankaracharya explains this Avatara Tattvam in his introduction to Gita Bhashyam. Sacha Bhagavan Jnana Aishwarya Shakti Bala Virya Tejovihi Sada Sampannaha Trigunatmikam Vaishnavim Swam Mayam Mula Prakritim Vashikritya Ajaha Avyayaha Bhutanam Ishwaraha Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Api San Swamayaya Dehavan Iva Jataha Iva Cha Lokanagraham Kurvan Iva Lakshyate. Beautiful sentence, one sentence. Bhagavan Jnana Aishwarya Shakti Bala Virya Tejovihi Sada Sampannaha. Bhagavan, one who has 6 bhagas, in the previous classes I explained, even though he is always with those attributes, Trigunatmikam Vaishnavim Swam Mayam, keeping his own Maya Shakti, Ajaha Avyayaha Bhutanam Ishwaraha Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Api. Even though he is birthless, he cannot take any form, he is a Lord of the entire creation, he is always the embodiment of purity and wisdom and freedom, still Swamayaya Dehavan Iva Jataha. Due to his Maya Shakti, he assumes the form. For what purpose? Loka Anugraham Kurvan. For the sake of Loka Anugraha, for the sake of welfare of the world. In the last class I explained in what way Loka Anugraham is done by avatars. Bhagavan says in Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In order to protect the dharma, I assume body. How he protects? There are 2 types of dharma. One is sadharana dharma and another is moksha dharma. Sadharana dharma means which is applicable for entire humanity. Ahimsa, Satyam, Brahmacharyam, Aparigraham, Astheyam. All these values, human values, those values should be protected. How you can protect the values? By protecting the people who follow those values. Bhagavan protects the values. That is called Sadharana Dharma Rakshana. He protects the men of nobility, and in the process, those who are obstacle, those who disturb the atmosphere setup, he destroys them. Dharma means universal harmony. Dharanat dharma ityahuhu. That which protects entire creation is called dharma. Universal harmony. Whenever there is a disturbance for this universal harmony, Bhagavan assumes this body and protects. And that protection is twofold. Protection of shishtas and destruction of dushtas. Shishta rakshanam, dushta shikshanam. Not only he protects the people who follow dharma, he himself follows that dharma and sets an example. Then moksha dharma rakshanam, another type of protection. This is not for the entire creation, but for the people who happen to be spiritual aspirants, seekers of freedom. He protects them by teaching the age-old Vedantic principles. Being a Jagat Guru, he revised the age-old Vedantic principles, which is enshrined in our Vedas. O humanity, you are the embodiment of divinity. You cannot destroy yourself by identifying with the fleeting things. You are embodiment of divinity. Know this fact and be free. This principle is called Moksha Dharma, and this Moksha Dharma is protected by teaching Vedanta Shastram to the seekers. Addition to this protection, Bhagavan has one compulsion to protect his own dharma. Initial protection is protection of dharma with regard to the creation. Now, Swadharma Rakshanartham api, one Acharya writes. What is the Swadharma of Bhagavan? In the Vedas it is mentioned that he is Karunamurti, Dayaluhu, Ahetuka Daya Sindhu, Bhaktavatsalaha. Like that, varieties of gunas are mentioned. So, how to demonstrate those qualities? Being Ishvara, he cannot demonstrate that because he is not available for anybody's perception. Therefore, being Avatara, he chooses to demonstrate those Kalyana Gunas. Seeing his Kalyana Gunas, people love him. Because Ishvara being a powerful entity, Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanaha, Lokapalaha, Nigraha Anugraha Shaktiman, omniscient, omnipotent, and the protector of the world, all these qualities are creating bhaya in our mind. Because somebody is more intelligent than us, we will be afraid of going near him. If somebody is more powerful, we will be afraid of going near him. And if the person has the capacity to destroy us, certainly we will avoid going near him. We may worship him. For what purpose? To request him not to come to us, not to come near us. Like Shanishwara Bhagavan worship. Everybody goes to temple and worship Shanishwara Bhagavan. For what purpose? Not to invite Shanishwara Bhagavan in his life, but to say, please don't come in my life. So, all these grand qualities will be bhaya hetuhu, will create fear. So, people will be worshipping God either for the sake of some favor or out of fear. This is how other religions mention about the Lord. If you worship, you will get some carrots. If you don't worship, you will get some beatings. There ends the religion. But in Vaidika Shastra, even though Bhagavan is mentioned as Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, all-knowing, all-powerful entity, still he is mentioned as Dayaluhu, Krupa Sindhuhu, Sulabhaha. Therefore, Bhagavan has to assume a particular human body to demonstrate all these qualities. Demonstration of these qualities are called Swadharma Rakshanam. Otherwise, what happens? As Vedanta says, Bhishasmat Vatapavate, Bhisho Deti Suryaha, Bhishad Agnishchendrascha, Mrutyuhu Dhavati Panchamayiti. Out of fear of Ishvara, the sun shines, wind blows, and even the Kala Tattvam is afraid of him. When they themselves are afraid of him, what to talk about us? Therefore, Bhagavan takes this opportunity in human form to demonstrate all these beautiful qualities. Humanity cannot love anything which happened to be Bhaya Hetuhu. Whatever is Bhaya Hetuhu, even if it is Bhagavan, humanity will not love. I told the example of Shanishwara. People may worship, but they won't love. Humanity can love only that which is the source of security, peace and happiness. That which can give security to me, I can love. That which can give peace and happiness, I can love. Therefore, Bhagavan demonstrates some of the beautiful qualities. Samadarshatvam, Sarva Sulabhatvam, Brahmanyatvam, Sarva Sharanyatvam, Adosha Darshatvam, Satya Nishtatvam. Like that, varieties of qualities are demonstrated. Even in avatars themselves, if you take those avatars wherein these qualities are not demonstrated, they are not worshipped by the humanity. Like Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara, Narasimha Avatara. Who loves all these avatars? Even though it is kept as the form of the Lord in the temples, as even we go, we just move on. Like seeing the museum object, we move on. Because every Devata will have one Sannidhana. So straight we will go to Krishna or Rama. And these Devatas will be as Parivara Devatas. So we will be moving on. We will not stand there and pray. Because they don't command our love and respect. Because we have not found them to be the source of our security, peace and happiness. Therefore only certain avatars are very popular among the humanity. Therefore here Swamiji says, Bhagavan as Jagavandanaha is the object of worship, object of love and worship. How can we say Bhagavan is the object of worship and love by the entire humanity? There are so many Nastikas who don't worship the Lord at all. How can Swami Vivekananda says that Bhagavan is Jagavandanaha? Jagavandanaha means what? An object of worship of the entire Jagat. Entire Jagat means entire humanity. How can we say? There are millions and millions of Nastikas. For this question, Bhagavan answers in the Gita, everybody worships me only. Mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Even if he is a Nastika, he worships me. How can he say so? How can he say so? Suppose you take example, a Nastika. He loves money, certainly. And generally, all Nastikas will love money and good health, good food. Dhanam, Dhanyam, Pashum, Bahuputra, Labham. All these are all loved by not only Astikas, but Nastikas also. Correct? So, Dhanam, Dhanyam, Pashum, Bahuputra, Labham, all are manifestations of the same Lord. Apara Prakriti it is called. Nastikas worship Bhagavan as Apara Prakriti. Astikas, devotees worship Bhagavan as both Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. If he is a Artha Bhaktaha, a Bhaktaha with full of suffering, he worships the Lord for the sake of removal of his suffering. If he is a Artharthi Bhaktaha, he worships the same Lord for the sake of acquiring wealth. But if he is a Jignasu Bhaktaha, Mumukshuhu, then he will not worship the Lord for the sake of removal of his suffering or for the sake of wealth or power position. He wants something from the Lord. What is that? freedom. Even Jnani worships the Lord. He is simply captivated, attracted by the Kalyana Gunas of the Lord. So, Nastikas and Astikas, both are worshipping the Lord. Therefore, here Swamiji says, Bhagavan as Jagavandanaha. That is why when Bhagavan comes in human form, he satisfies all types of people. Among the Astikas, there are 4 types of devotees. He satisfies Arthas, those who are suffering. He protects the people who are suffering. He blesses the people who want some wealth. He blesses the seekers who wants freedom. Therefore, he invokes the Lord as Ananta Kalyana Gunaha. In Ramavatara, Dasharatha Raja says, I want to get retirement, I want to crown Ramaha. Immediately everybody told, yes, please, when you are going to do? Then Dasharatha asked, oh, you are all waiting for my retirement. What grand quality you have seen in my son. So those citizens, they replied, it seems, Bahavo nrupa kalyana gunaha santi sutasyate. In Rama we find Bahavaha kalyana gunaha. This is a certificate given by the citizens. Then Valmiki ji says, Ramo Rama iti prajanam abhavan katha. In Ayodhya, all of them were talking about him. All the time they were singing the glory of Rama, it seems. Then when somebody asked Rama's enemy, Maricha, what is your opinion about Rama? Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Dharma is a principle. It doesn't have any form. If you give a particular form to a formless principle, and that form will be Ramaha. Like that, these qualities attracts the human mind. Humanity loves Krishna. Why? Because Krishna's life we find, Bhagavan Krishna is Sarva Sulabhaha Daya Sindhu. Though he is Bhagavan himself, he was friend of cowherd boys and danced for the sake of little butter and became the servant of his devotees. Uddhava says, where can you find such an entity who happened to be embodiment of love? Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigamsaya payayatyapya sadvi lebhe gatim datra yuchitam tatonyam kamvadayalum sharanam vrajema. Uddhava says, other than this embodiment of love, embodiment of compassion, to whom we can go and surrender? What type of compassion he had? He gave the status of his mother to a demonic lady, Putana, who came to kill him. What is the status given to her? The status of his own mother. Then if you ask our Bhishmacharya, he simply melts down. Yam manyase matuleyam priyam mitram suhruttamam akaroho sachivam dhutam sauhrutat athasaratim yesha vai bhagavan sakshat adyo narayanah puman mohayan mayaya lokam gudascharati vrishnishu. At the deathbed, he was instructing Arjuna and other Pandavas. He says, "O Pandavas, how fortunate you were to have the Bhagavan himself, Yeshavai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayanaha Harihi, to have the Ishvara himself as your servant, as your well-wisher, as your friend, Yam Manyase Matuleyam, as your relative, friend and well-wisher, to whom you gave the duties called Sachivam Dutam Sarathihi. If Arjuna knows that Krishna is Bhagavan, can he ask him to be a driver? Can he ask him to be a messenger? So in spite of your ignorance, Bhagavan loved you all. That is the Sulabhatvam, Sarva Sulabaha. At the end of his life, Arjuna himself recognized the grandness of the Lord and loved towards him. Narmanyudara ruchira smita shobhitani he partha he Arjuna he saketi sanjalpitani naradeva hritisprishani smarturlutanti mama madhavasya vanjitoham maharaja harina bandhurupina yena me apahritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat. Arjuna has come back from Dwaraka after the physical demise of Krishna and reports his pain to Yudhishthira. He says, "Oh my dear brother, I have been simply deserted by the Lord himself." How can Lord desert you? He happened to be your friend and well-wisher. How can he desert? No, he has given up his body, leaving me alone in this world. How nicely he loved me in spite of my all shortcomings, in spite of my all limitations. He loved me, and every time he called me with all love and affection. Narmani udara ruchira smita shobhitani. When he calls me, "Hey Arjuna, hey Kurunandana, hey Sakhe," in that address itself, I could smell his love and compassion. Sanjalpitani naradeva hritisprishani. When we were talking so intimately, other rajas used to be jealous about our friendship. Now he has left me, my heart has broken. Like this, devotees simply love the Lord for the sake of Ananta Kalyana Gunam, demonstrated during Avatara. Therefore, Avatara's life is the demonstration of Vedic principle, and Avatara's actions are for the sake of Loka Sangraham. For ordinary people, Avatara's life is an inspiration to cultivate dharma in their life, to cultivate devotion. But for sadhakas and mumukshus, the very life itself is the boat to cross samsara. Bhagavan comes for the sake of destroying the enemies, asuras. What is the use for us, you tell? He has destroyed so many asuras. Rama destroyed, Krishna destroyed. What is the use for us? He has reduced the weight of the earth, Bhubhara. What is the use for us, you tell? He played with Arjuna and Bhishma and other people. What is the use for us, you tell? He is omniscient, all-knowing entity. What is the use for us? He is omnipotent, Sarva Shaktiman. So what? So what? Let him be happy. Like that only humanity will think. But when the same Lord and his Leelas becomes the boat to cross our own suffering, how it becomes the boat to cross the samsara sagara? Mother Kunti says, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmani shravana smarana harhani karishyaniti kechana. The life and leelas of the Lord is the boat to cross our samsara. We are suffering due to ignorance, avidya kama karmani. We are suffering due to ignorance about ourselves, ignorance about this creation, and we develop lots of desires, and due to desires we do lots of actions and acquire punyam and papam. And the very punyam and papam brings sukha and dukkha. In this condition, birth after birth, we are roaming in the samsara sagara. So Bhagavan's life and leelas becomes a boat. How? Shravana smarana harhani. Beautiful assertion it is. By hearing those leelas, a devotee's heart is purified, and by sheer purity he develops viveka and vairagya. Ultimately, he surrenders to the Lord for the sake of Atma Jnanam. That's what Mother Kunti says. Shrinvanti gayanti grinanti abhikshnashaha smaranti nandanti tavehitam janaha tayeva pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. Just sheer remembrance of the Lord and His Kalyana Gunas, it reduces our suffering. Just hearing the glories of the Lord reduces our suffering. Say for example, when we hear the Rama's life, what we come to know? That he suffered for none of his mistake. For the sake of Satya and Dharma, he lived in forest for 14 years and his wife was abducted, and to get back her, he had to struggle a lot. When we hear all these leelas, what we think? Oh, I am better than him. I am better than him. Certainly, government has not asked me to go to the forest, nor my family members asked me to go to forest, nor my wife or husband is abducted by someone. I am certainly better than him. When he did not have even a staying place and house, at least I have one rental house. He did not have electricity, grinder, mixie. I have all those things. And when his friends were monkeys, my friend is at least human being. Even though he asks loan now and then, but still he is human being. Like that we console ourselves. And in spite of all these trials and tribulations, Bhagavan Rama stood for the sake of Dharma and Satyam. In spite of all these provocations, he stood for the sake of Dharma and Satyam. And I tell lie for the sake of 100 rupees. Is it worthy? So this question comes. So naturally, mind is elevated, mind is consoled, mind is guided and inspired to follow the values of life. And ultimately, when we go through the teachings of the Lord, He gives lot of teachings to His companions. Whether it is Ramavatara or Krishna Avatara, we find this creation is anityam asukam lokam. Imam prapya bhajasvamam. The only duty, having come to this human life, the only duty of a human being is mam bhajasva. Worship me, love me, know my real nature. That is a teaching. So a matured mind understands this and gets inspiration. Swami Vivekananda says, that Lord who has been Rama and Krishna, now he has manifested in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Where we find this statement? Where we find? Because in this entire Arati song, there is not a single word called Sri Ramakrishna. Where we find Sri Ramakrishna is equated with this avatara. Swami Vivekananda himself has written another stotra on Sri Ramakrishna. A chandala pratihatarayo yasya prema pravaho lokatitopi ahaha na jahau loka kalyana margam. One whose love and compassion has extended up to the Chandala, up to the human being who reduced himself to the level of animal by his way of life, by his thought process, by his behavior, who lives an animalistic life, Up to him, the compassion has reached through the form of Sri Ramakrishna. It's a beautiful stuti. Achandala pratihatarayo yasya prema pravaho lokatitopi ahahana jahau loka kalyana margam. There Swamiji beautifully says, he is the embodiment of knowledge covered with devotion, embodiment of love and compassion. Such a Lord who happened to be Nirgunaha and at the same time Sagunaha, who happened to be Niranjanaha at the same time Nararupadharaha, being Nararupadharaha, Avataraha, he is Jagavandanaha, and who happened to be Bhava Bandhana Kandanaha. Next word. One by one word I am trying to explain. If you have memorized this shloka, you can enjoy this. Bhava Bandhana Kandanaha. Such a Lord has manifested now in the form of Sri Ramakrishna with Kalyana Gunaha like Karuna, Tyaga and Satyanishta. Sri Ramakrishna as the embodiment of compassion, renunciation and truth. He was Sarva Sulabhaha, without any vibhuti. In other avatars, at least those avatars had some miraculous powers. Siddhis, vibhutis they are called. If you take Rama, he could build a bridge on the ocean. If you take Krishna, he could lift the mountains. But Sri Ramakrishna did not do any of these things. Nor Sri Ramakrishna destroyed anyone physically. So, no vibhuti at all. No expression of vibhuti at all. But at the same time, he could conquer the minds of the humanity just by sheer purity and love and compassion. To such a Lord, being a mumukshuhu, I surrender to him for the sake of mokshaha, bhava bandhana kandhanartham vandito mai. Bhava bandhana kandhanartham vandito mai. As I told earlier, if Bhagavan is sarvajnaha, so what? I am alpajnaha. I don't know anything even about myself. If Bhagavan is sarva shaktiman, so what? I am alpa shaktiman. I cannot do small little things in my life. If Bhagavan is ananta kalyana guna nilayaha, what about me? Ananta durguna nilayaha. Kama krodha lobha moha mada matsaryadi ananta durguna nilayaha. So if he is grand, I will ask, so what? In what way he has any relevance in my life? Here Swamiji says, in one way he has relevance. In what way? He can simply wipe out your suffering. Bhava bandhanam can be wiped out by him. The samsara, because of which you are suffering day in, day out, that can be washed off if he wishes, if you surrender him. Bhava bandhanam, beautiful word it is. Bhava eva bandhanaha, bhava bandhanaha. Bhava means assuming particular individuality. Bhava means assuming an individuality. How assuming an individuality becomes source of my suffering? Because of that individuality, I find myself as a small entity. Because I find myself as a small entity, I find myself as a wanting entity, insignificant entity. Therefore, I develop lots of desires to fulfill me. And to fulfill those desires, I go for varieties of actions. And those actions produce punya and papa. And due to punya and papa, I again come back to the same creation, assuming another form. So, bhavaha means samsaraha. Samyak sarati iti samsari. What is the definition of an individual? The individual is someone who is traveling always, continuously traveling. Changing his bodies, he travels world to world. Within one body itself, he travels nation to nation. And within one nation itself, he travels city to cities. And within a city, he travels street to street, then house to house, room to room, people to people, all the time, travel. No Vishrantihi. No Shantihi and no Vishrantihi. By Bhagavan's grace, by nature, this human being has 6 hours, 7 hours sleeping mode. If there is no compulsory sleeping mode, humanity will roam that time also. They will do extra duty, OT, overtime duty. For what? More money, to earn more money. If there is no growth and old age, they will go on continue in that same mechanical works. Getting up, going to office, coming to house, in between club, sleep, getting up, going to office, same mechanic. And even when Bhagavan says or nature says you are tired, already 60 over, this fellow says, I am tired physically, not tired mentally. So therefore, I am going to be retired. Retired in another organization, some other work. So, this individual who suffers because of traveling, unfortunately likes traveling. You see, everybody likes traveling and we suffer because of traveling only. That is the fate of humanity. The travel never ends. In Tamil, one saint sings, Pullagi, Pundai, Puduvagi, Maramagi, Palvirugamagi, Paravayai, Pambai, Kallai, Manidarai. So all types of bodies I have taken. Ella pirappum pirandu ilaithen. I am now tired. Oh Lord, I am tired. When this tiredness comes, then that jiva surrenders to the Lord, asking for Vishrantihi. The seeker, the mumukshu, who is tired of repeated birth and death, who is subject to dukkham in every birth, is now tired of bhavam and wanted to have freedom from this bhavam. Why he wants freedom? Because in every birth there is jara maranam, dukkham, vyadhi, vyagriva tishtati jara paritarjayanti. Bhartrhari says, like a tigress, the old age is waiting to gulp the humanity. So how many times you have violated the physical discipline? How many times you refuse to do yogasana in spite of repeated telling by the doctors? How many times you have violated eating habits? Anything, everything, anytime, any amount, quantity. Go on, swallow. So, the jara is waiting. All right, you cross 40, then I will see. Then I will simply pounce upon you. Vyagriva tishtati jara. So this mumukshu, who happened to be a tired person who wants to have freedom from this repeated birth and death cycle, surrenders to the Lord because Bhagavan happened to be the destroyer of samsara. Here Swamiji says, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna happened to be the destroyer of my samsara, and he happened to be in the form of my Atma Vidya Guruhu. He happened to be in the form of Atma Vidya Guru. Now you have to stretch your imagination. We read in the life of Swami Vivekananda that he threatened everyone by a particular question. Have you seen God? Have you seen God? None of the people who were questioned by Swamiji could reply. Some escaped from the question, some gave some other answer. Then finally he reached Sri Ramakrishna and asked the same question. That scene you have to remember. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda both were sitting relaxedly in Dakshineshwar nearby his room. So Sri Ramakrishna asked, "Hey, you fellow, you came to me with a question, a silly question, and tried to threaten me." Then Swamiji says, "In what way I threatened you? In what way it is a silly question?" What was the question asked by Swamiji? Have you seen God? The answer was, yes, and I can show to you. Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, I can show to you. So Sri Ramakrishna remembers this incident and talks to Swamiji like this. Such a silly question you asked. You asked, have you seen God? To God himself you asked, have you seen God? No. How can I know that you are God at that time? Therefore only I asked. See, going to God and asking a question, have you seen God? Is it not a silly question? It's a silly question. So Sri Ramakrishna scolds him for our imagination. Never happened. Okay? For our imagination. So he scolds him. You asked God himself this question, have you seen God? So Swamiji said, no. How can I know you are God himself, you are Avatara? Therefore only I asked. Sri Ramakrishna, even if you don't know me as Avatara, as God, then also the question is silly question. How? How it was silly? Sri Ramakrishna. Because the question presupposes that I am not God, that you are not God, that the God is an object of your perception. See, to ask somebody, have you seen God, means what? The questioner is not God. The person to whom the question is asked is not God. And the God is an object of perception. Correct? For example, somebody comes and asks you, have you seen Subramanyam? The questioner is not Subramanyam. The questioned person also is not Subramanyam. Then the Subramanyam must be an object of your perception. Correct? So have you seen Subramanyam means you should define who is that Subramanyam. To ask the question, have you seen God, you should define who is God. If you define God, then he cannot be God. Because the definition of God is what? Manovak agocharaha. Indefinable entity. If the God is object of your perception, then he must be Jadavastu. How can Jadavastu be a God? I hope you enjoy this imagination. A little bit subtle thinking is involved. When Swamiji asked, have you seen God? It presupposes many ideas. The questioner is not God. The questioned Sri Ramakrishna is not God. Then the God is the object of perception. If the God is object of perception, then he must be a Jadavastu. If he is a Jadavastu, how can he be God? Because any Jadavastu is Anitya Vastu, subject to destruction. Jadam chet martyam, chetanam chet adrishyam. If it is Jadam, then it is subject to death. If it is Chetanam, then you cannot ask, have you seen God? Because it is not available for your perception. You don't know about the nature of God, still you ask this question. How silly it is. Then Swamiji says, yes, that time I was little bit silly only. By your grace, now I understood everything. What you understood? Khandana bhava bandhana jagavandana vanditomai niranjana nararupadhara nirguna gunamai. You are the embodiment of Brahman Nirguna Tattvam. You are the embodiment of Ishvara Saguna Tattvam. Nirgunaha San Gunamayaha Ishvaraha. Even if you are Gunamayaha api Niranjanaha, you are not tainted by attributes, being Paramarthika Satyam. Niranjanaha San, being unpolluted by attributes, still Loka Sangrahartham, you assumed body, Nararupa Dharaha, and Ananta Kalyana Guna Sampannatvad, Jaga Vandanaha, you are the object of the worship of the entire humanity due to your grand qualities. And as far as I am concerned, you happen to be the destroyer of my bondage, Khandana Bhava Bandhana. This is the knowledge about Sri Ramakrishna. About Avatara Tattvam, Moksha Dharma Sthapanartham, Jagatkuru Rupene, Sadharana Dharma Sthapanartham, Dharmavan Rupene, Ishvaraha Avatarati. This is Avatara Tattvam. Third idea is Moksha Sadhanam is Bhaktihi, initially in the form of Nama Sankirtana Bhaktihi, then slowly it grows in the form of Dharma Acharana Rupa Bhaktihi, and finally culminates in the form of Jignasu Bhaktihi. Whoever surrenders to the Lord as a Shishyaha, as a Mumukshuhu, as a Jignasuhu, for him the freedom is guaranteed. So, Brahma Swarupam is explained, Avatara Tattvam is explained, Moksha Sadhanam also is explained. Then, what about you? What about you? What is your understanding about you, yourself? When Sri Ramakrishna asks, Swamiji says, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am not a limited entity. As you are Akhanda Vastu, I am also Akhanda Vastu. How can he say so? You only taught me, Gurudev. You only taught me. Then what is the reason for your suffering? Samsara Karanam Atma Ajnanam. What can be the Moksha Swarupam? What is the nature of the freedom? Jiveshwara Aikya Jnanam. First three ideas are explicitly mentioned in the shloka. What are the ideas? Brahma Swarupam, Avatara Tattvam, and Sadhana. Next three ideas, Jiva Swarupam, Samsara Karanam, and Moksha Swarupam, are hidden in this shloka. We will see in the future class. This is a series of class. This is the fourth class on Aratrikam song. Already 3 classes are uploaded in the website. I request all of you to hear them. Then only you will make out something. I enjoy. I don't know whether you enjoy or not. It's full of Vedanta. You can download them from the website, Ashrama website, chennaimat.org. Already 3 hours of classes are over. Then you can get some glimpse about these meanings. Next class will be next month only. Last Sunday of next month. So 1 month gap is too much. But whenever you come to class, you please go through them. Then you will enjoy the meaning. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhridavigraham vai Ishāvataram parameshamīdyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namāmi. Om शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।